Welcome to Friday. It's the Classic Guitar Rock Daily Update. I'm your host, Jeremy. And we've got some exciting news. And of course, it's Friday, so that makes it doubly exciting. I'm not buying the intro. I got to work on that. Like I said, still a work in progress. You can still send me your ideas. classicguitarrock@mail.com. Have you got any exciting plans for the weekend? If you're down in Indio, California, it's the Power Trip Festival kicks off tonight. There's who's there? Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, AC/DC, and Tool. Check them all out. That's going to be fun. If you do go, I'd love to hear from you and hear how that went. The Rolling Stones have a new album coming out. October 20th, Hackney Diamonds is released. Of course, you know, Charlie Watts, Mick Jagger called him the heartbeat of the band. He was a fixture in their lineup for 60 years. He joined in 1963. And Charlie Watts, one of those great drummers. Here's a great quote from Mick. He says, he was a very reliable person, wasn't a diva. That's the last thing you want in a drummer. Yeah, Mick would know a little about that. Charlie was a very subtle drummer. He did love jazz, and that gave him the subtlety that perhaps he wouldn't have had if he hadn't been such a student of jazz and played it a lot. But he was a rock drummer as well. He was a great rock drummer. Hang on here. He was a great rock drummer. He wasn't just a jazz drummer showing off or trying to be too technical. And despite him passing away in 2021, he is on 2 of the tracks on the upcoming album. So, and here's really what the story is about. Who's replacing Charlie Watts? Well, a name, if in drumming circles that we're all aware of, Steve Jordan has accepted the full-time position to fill in for Charlie Watts, though he's not officially a member of the band. How does that work? He's the full-time replacement, but not an official member of the band. I think, is Daryl Jones still the bass player? I think he's kind of in the same boat. Anyways, Jordan is the drummer. He drums on the rest of the album. And actually, there have only been 3 drummers total that have ever played on a Rolling Stones album, which kind of surprised me. Jordan is one of them. I don't know off the top of my head who the other person is. They got, if you go see them live, there's multiple percussionists and stuff, but in terms of just drummers, there's only been 3 that have ever been recorded on a Rolling Stones album. Jordan has worked with Stevie Nicks, Don Henley, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, Rod Stewart. I mean, he's played with just about everyone. Jethro Tull is in the news. The delayed War Child 2, which was supposed to come out in January of 2022, so it's more than a year delayed, will now be released on vinyl for the very first time. Parlophone Records releasing that on November 24th. War Child 2 is a companion release to the War Child album that originally came out in 1974. Bungle in the Jungle. Bungle in the Jungle. That's the big hit from that song. Anyways, they've kind of gone in and it's a completely remixed, reversion, even rewritten some of the stuff for this new War Child 2 release that's coming out in November. If you're a Tull fan, you definitely want to check that out. Dang it, Major League Baseball screwing things up again. Okay. Pitch clocks, making the bases big. They're doing, actually, I kind of like those things. But how are they screwing things up? Well, the Arizona Diamondbacks, doggone it, because they're advancing in the playoffs, means they got to cancel a Guns N' Roses show. I'm going to say something that might get me in trouble. No, I'm not going to say it. So the Diamondbacks having a great year. They swept the Milwaukee Brewers in the wild card and advanced to the National League Division Series on Wednesday. Game 3 of that series will be played on October 11th, which is the same date GNR was supposed to play at Chase Field. So don't worry, they'll reschedule it. You'll still have a chance to see Guns N' Roses, but now you can go see the Diamondbacks. I mean, that's great too. What's not to like about that? Van Halen. First of all, sad news, a sad anniversary. On this date 3 years ago, the great Eddie Van Halen passed away at the age of 65. What a tremendous contribution that guy made. Awesome. And that leads me to this next bit about Van Halen. Van Halen just today has released a newly remastered official music video of the band's classic Right Now. It's in HD. It's on the official Van Halen YouTube channel. Go check it out right now. In 1992, if you remember, that video won 3 awards at the MTV Video Music Awards, including award for Video of the Year. Now, this all kind of coincides with Van Halen releasing a brand new box set spotlighting the Sammy years. Okay, there was one released back in 2015 that focused on the Dave years, and that was called The Collection. This one's called The Collection 2, and this is all the stuff that they did in the Sammy era. The Collection 2 is now available on 5 LPs or 5 CDs. All the music in the set was mastered directly from the original master tapes and overseen by Don Landee, longtime engineer for the band. So this is obviously it's stuff from outtakes, all kinds of things, different mixes and demo versions, all kinds of stuff. 5150, OU812 for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and Balance. And here's the deal with Van Halen. It's a common refrain, right? Who's better, Sammy or Dave? Well, guess what? They're different. I treat them like 2 different bands, just like I do with AC/DC, right? Bon and Brian. They're both awesome. They're different. With AC/DC, you don't get so much of the comparison because Bon died. They didn't have a choice, right? They had to replace him. Van Halen, it seems like there's a lot of people disrespect Sammy. They like Dave, whatever. You got to treat them like 2 different bands. I love both incarnations. And here's the way I answer the question: Sammy versus Dave. Dave was a better frontman. Sammy was a way better singer. Problem solved, right? But they're both great. They both have great material, great catalogs. We don't have enough time to be fighting about all Van Halen is good. All of it's good. So why fight? Just enjoy it all. That's all I'm going to say. So now you can buy the collection for the Dave years and the collection 2 for the Sam years. And then we're all happy. I'm happy because it's Friday. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for all your support. Email me, classicguitarrock@mail.com. And of course, as always, Paul from Brazil. Paul, thank you so much for joining. You can always join us on the chat during these things. These are so short. I'm thinking of stretching this out just so we have more time to chat. But until then, thank you for your support. And you can always email me, classicguitarrock@mail.com, and you can be a subscriber for just $1 a month. Paul, thanks for tuning in. The rest of you, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.